I'm here with Dr. Jan today, author of Fight Free Families, and today we're going to be talking about how to separate kids' problems from parents' problems. When is it a kid's problem?
Well, parents will soon find that kids are constantly coming to them for them to fix their problem. For instance, my sister hit me, or he took my toy truck, or he's changed the channel on the TV. And so they're kids' problems. Things that kids really need to work out themselves. They need to learn to stand up for themselves and to communicate. And so parents need to encourage children to solve all of those sorts of problems themselves.
So even, say in the mornings, it's very busy, we're trying to get ready for school, we get to school and one of the boys haven't put their lunch box in their bags. Is that a kid's problem or a parent's problem?
It's really a kid's problem, and if the parent tries to solve it by, oh my God, here's the school lunch, and chase straight back up to school, the child learns that, oh well, mum or dad will always solve my problems for me. A child needs to they'll never be hungry at school, let's face it, there's always other people to share their lunch with, or to go to the teacher and explain, I forgot my lunch. That's going to teach the child more about solving their problems than the parent trying to fix it for them.
So we have to stay firm, really?
We do have to stay firm and realise that, like doting on our children and preventing any pain for them really doesn't teach them anything.
And what age can we start implementing this?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess it depends. With a 3-year-old, you'd probably take their lunch because they'd get very distressed and they don't know how to solve that problem. But certainly an 8-year-old needs to start to learn to remember their own lunch. But some people will have a mature 3-year-old who can manage and process that, and others might have a very immature 8-year-old. So in a way, test your kids out yourself. But I think parents should know.
And I guess by doing this, it's probably almost easier for the parent to pack everything for the child, it's in the bag, or their sports clothes, or whatever it is, their library bag, whatever it is they need. It is easier for the parent to do it, but are we teaching our children independence, or?
We need to teach children independence, and by asking them to get into a habit of, you could start off by putting the lunchbox and the little toiletry bag or whatever, put the 3 items there, but then say to the child, now you put them in the bag. And then, as the child gets older, the child's expected to, what's wrong with making their own lunch anyway? Sure. They should learn how to make their own lunch and do it from woe to go to get to school.
I guess initially, it's easier for the parent to do it and to implement these, coming back to probably routines and rules.
Yes.
It's harder to sort of get them into place, but once it is in place, it makes it easier.
Well, we used to have a system called the Being Ready routine, and so I would set the microwave oven to go off 10 minutes before we had to leave the house. And so that meant the children, they might have done nothing, but it's amazing how much they can get done in 10 minutes if they know. And that's where they'd go through their checklist.
Right.
We'd even have the checklist written up on the fridge.
Okay.
So that they'd know that what they had to do was, put their lunch in their bag and put their raincoat in their bag or whatever else.
So, Dr. Jan, we've got a children's problem to deal with. At which point should the parent intervene to help them solve this issue?
Well, parents should definitely intervene if 2 kids are at each other, hitting each other. I used to call it danger. In a dangerous situation, a parent needs to step in and separate them. But you know what? It's very, very hard to ever find out who really started something. So it's better to put them both in some kind of timeout. If you absolutely know which child started it, or you saw a child really, maybe a bigger child really, get stuck into and hurt a smaller child, then the bigger child should be sent into timeout, and then you should, favour, give a big hug, take them in, help them, get them to help you make a pancake. Give that hurt child some special care.
Is it okay as a parent to still hear both child's side of the story, or should we make our own, just to step in and separate?
It depends. You get to know your children, and some children are real good story spinners, and so giving them the time of day to getting yet another story is only reinforcing them for making up stories. So you will learn, you know, whether or not you should really listen to both sides or not. And certainly if they're being dangerous to each other, you've got to separate them straight away. Sometimes it's best to say, look, let's just not talk. You know, you go to that room, you go to that room, and then we'll come back together later.
Great advice, Jan. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.